Shut down.
Hey guys, the workout brief for Tuesday, March 31st, coming to you from Dining Room Day Marshalls. The workout is 5 sets. It's a minute at 3 different stations of max repetitions. The first station is going to be jumping jacks. The second station is going to be sit-ups. The third station is going to be some variation of a pull-up, depending upon what you have access to. We'll go over some of those options in a minute. And then you're going to follow it up with 1 minute of rest. So just a minute of rest, get your bearings, go back to the first station, and then do it all again. So it's 5 sets total. The goal within each set is to complete as many reps as possible within that minute. We'll go over some of the potential modifications and considerations depending upon what type of equipment you have. We'll go over a recommended warm-up to build up to getting started here, and then we'll turn it over to you guys. So with respect to let's just go over each movement. First of all, the jumping jacks, it's just a good old-fashioned jumping jack, kind of like what you used to do in gym class. The standard that we would like to maintain as best you can is to actually touch your hands behind your butt and touch your hands up over your head every single repetition. Aside from that, your feet are simply transitioning from under your hips to under your shoulders essentially, and you're moving your arms simultaneously. So touch them hip behind the butt, touch them over the head every single rep. Much harder than it sounds to do that for a minute straight, but that would be the goal, sustain that for the full minute. If you have access to a jump rope, you can utilize that. You can perform either double unders if you're proficient with double unders. If you're not proficient with double unders, but you do have a jump rope, you can substitute single unders with that jump rope if you would like. I think the good old-fashioned jumping jack is the way to go for this one. The sit-ups, these are designed to be just standard sit-ups on the floor. You can really perform them however you like. If you have access to an ab mat, of course, you can utilize that. If you don't have access to an ab mat, and sit-ups without the ab mat will create some lower back discomfort perhaps, you can just roll up a towel or a sweatshirt and that'll get the job done. So you place it on the floor. That'll go right in the small of your back when you're laying flat on the ground. I would encourage you to bring the bottoms of your feet together when you're setting up here with your knees kicked out to the side. Start with your head and your shoulders and your hands on the floor in the bottom. Sit all the way up so that you can at least touch your toes so that your shoulder gets in front of your hip at the top. If for whatever reason you can't perform sit-ups due to some kind of back injury or pain or whatever kind of limitation you might have, you can just substitute a good old-fashioned front plank. That can either be done on the elbows or on the hands. And the goal would be to sustain that for the full minute as best you can. The pull-ups, if you have access to a pull-up bar, of course, use that. The intention would be to perform strict pull-ups for this workout, but you're welcome to utilize any variation. Kipping pull-ups, you can do chin-ups with an underhand grip. If you don't have access to a pull-up bar, a couple of the potential scaling options. One is table pull-up, which we introduced last week. I'll just put that video of that substitution in the workout description in SugarWOD. The other one is a floor pull forward, which we also introduced last week. If you don't have access to a table or those table pull-ups are too challenging, you can perform those. I'll put that video link in SugarWOD as well. And then if you have access to some piece of equipment, call it a dumbbell, a kettlebell, a barbell, a sandbag, a backpack, you can always just perform some variation of a bent over row, just to replicate that same pulling motion. Something that is somewhat sustainable for a full minute. You're not going to necessarily go unbroken for the full minute, depending upon which variation you choose, but you should be able to knock out a decent amount of reps in that minute time. For a suggested warm-up, since we're going to be jumping around quite a bit, we're going to be doing some sit-ups, some flexion and extension of the spine, and the pull-ups really kind of working the back muscles and the shoulders. We'll just focus on at least stretching those out a little bit in the warm-up. That's recommended. So to stretch out the calves, something you can do is just put yourself in an upside down V. From there, drop your weight into one leg and then bend the opposite knee and just hang out there for a bit. Stretch out the calf and the hamstring and then just switch to the opposite side. And probably do a good like 7 or 8 on each side. Basically want to hold it for about a minute's time. So get 30 seconds on each side total. Second would be press-ups. That's naked Hunter. That's Hunter's naked ass making an appearance.
Come back here. Come back here. Over here. Under.
There he goes.
Under.
Press-ups. Just to warm up the spine and the abs. Lay flat on your stomach. Hands outside the shoulders. Hips stay down. Press till the arms are straight. Allow the back to arch. Stretch out the abdominals a little bit. You can hold that position for a while. You can lower down and perform some repetitions. You can rotate from one side to the other. Really no right or wrong way. Just open things up in the front of the hips and the abs. Warm up the spine a little bit. The lats, for the pull-ups, you'd want to just kind of sit your butt back to your heels, like a child's pose. Lower the chest down to the thighs. Walk the hands out in front, and to get a little more stretch on one side, walk the hands out to the side. Hang out there for a little bit, and then walk the hands out to the other side. And you're going to accumulate about 30 seconds on each side. And then, of course, guys, to warm up the movements, you prep them each, warm them up sufficiently. The recommendation is 2 sets, 30 seconds of jumping jacks or double unders with the jump rope, 30 seconds of sit-ups, 30 seconds of whichever pull-up variation you're going to do. Take a minute break, do it all again. So just a miniature little version of the workout. After that, give yourself a couple minute break, get a little sip of water, smack yourself in the face a little bit, and then get her started. All right, guys, enjoy. Good luck. Hunter, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Good night, everyone.